let me take you through the big layoffs that's happening across the IT sector, but it seems like the anger is right now directed towards TCS. It's been nearly a year since the passing of Ratan Tata, a leader who's remembered for building not just businesses but trust and dignity at workplace. But tonight, the crown jewel of the Tata empire, Tata Consultancy Services, is facing several questions that cut at the heart of that legacy. In the past few months, TCS, India's largest IT services provider, is restructuring its workforce, and it recently announced its decision to lay off 2% of its global workforce, that's roughly around 12,000 employees, to stay future ready. Now, IT unions allege that the total numbers of layoffs could likely touch nearly 30,000. In fact, in a case, a veteran of nearly 30 years who worked at TCS reportedly told that he was just 20 minutes, he was given 20 minutes barely to decide whether he wanted to take early retirement or he wanted to be terminated. There was no severance package given. One worker in Kolkata says that he was given an ultimatum, resign or be terminated. Similar accounts. In Chennai, another person was reportedly placed on what insiders call the Fluidity List, where he was stripped of the company assets and forced out without a warning. Now, across cities, IT unions are now protesting, demanding transparency and dignity in how India's largest private employer treats its employees. They're also demanding government intervention to prevent job losses and call this move as illegal and arbitrary. TCS, of course, has denied the allegations, calling them misinformation spread by anonymous users. But we see protests on the streets in many places. In fact, one person we hear was even sleeping in front of TCS office in the form of protest. And the protest basically has techies pushing for people not to resign. And that's their protest slogan as well, don't resign. Now, we're looking at the volume of consistency here of these stories that's raising troubling questions about whether India's largest private employer still sees its people as assets or have many of them become liabilities. Who next is the fear that these techies have. Also, for years, mass layoffs in the IT sector has been normalized, even as labor laws meant to protect workers are brazenly sidelined. What are the real safeguards for them? And what should exist in place? How do employees be protected from silent layoffs that are now disguised as resignations? To give us a little insight, joining me are Alagunnambi Welkin, General Secretary, Union of IT and IT's Employees. I hope I pronounced your name right. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have Ramnath Kamapalla, IT professional, joining us from Hyderabad. Thanks very much, both of you. Ramnath, let me start with you on the visuals we see here of some protests happening by IT employees asking TCS employees particularly, don't resign. Now, what's this don't resign slogan that you all have raised?
Yes. We have seen continuously TCS is getting in the media news regarding these layoffs and all kind of calling for early retirement, what you call a fluidity list or something like that. So obviously the employees who are working in the Cognizant are getting scared and worried regarding their future course of action, what kind of. Generally, the TCS or Tata has very legacy, huge legacy, and it's a great branding in the society. The people who are working in the TCS or Tata group, they felt their own company. Generally, some sayings are there now in common people. If you are getting a job in Tata group or TCS, it is like nothing but a government job, fully secured job until retirement. So that kind of sayings we have seen, we have exchanging words of these kind of situation from the people, but the things has been completely changed from the last few days. It leads to their trust also. It is not only worried of employees or employee families. It is about to branding of Tata Group and TCS and about stockholders who are invested in TCS Group since so many years. So definitely the TCS leadership has come into forward and to address these all allegations and make some promising words towards employees and all stakeholders. Why? Because we have seen recently the Tata Group has lost his chairman Ratan Tata. So after that, in a row, there are many issues over here for the recent months. Also, they made some discussions regarding Tata Sons group chairman, who willing the next chairman instead of Chandrasekhar, somebody will take over. Or Noel has objected some decision. Something all kind of allegations or remarks we have seen for the last 3 days also. So in all these kind of circumstances, the TCS leadership must come forward and make the responsible answer and give some take preventive measures and make to build a confidence in the employees as well.
Absolutely, Um, if Mr. Alagun Nambi can give us a little on how would you look at it? We know resignations are being forced by some companies, and let me be clear to our viewers here that it's not just TCS. There have been many other companies I wouldn't name right now. Right now, TCS is in the spotlight, but so many companies working in India who've unceremoniously pushed out their employees, either asking them to resign with dignity or we fire you. So, and if you're fired, then you won't even have good ratings to join elsewhere. So it's such a double-edged sword for a lot of them. And the layoffs are happening in dozens on a daily basis. So what's the future you see here? And how much do you know of this story?
Right. So right before this announcement from Keethi, the CEO of TCS, there are a lot of calls we are getting to the union number and we are addressing. So probably around hundreds of people we have addressed so far in the last 2 months or so across India. And even before Keethi Vasan has announced this information that they are going to send out mid and senior level employees out of their payroll as part of their restructuring initiative, they have amended their policy. It's a policy called bench policy. So we have released a statement even then when the policy was amended, stating that TCS is planning for a mass retrenchment, illegal retrenchment. That is why this kind of amendment is being used. So from that point, it is planned action by the TCS to send out tens of thousands of people. And the number they are claiming that it is 2%, 12,000, it's all false. Employees inside TCS are saying the 12,000 numbers were crossed well ahead of the announcement. And our informations are now is that it is already crossed 30,000 or so people. So every day in Chennai, there are hundreds of employees made to sit in the HR before the HR room. One side, there is a psychological counseling room. The other side, there is a doctor sitting there to address any emergencies. And in between, there's a HR room where a security person will collect all your chains, even your chain, your electronic devices, and they'll send you inside for a meeting which there is no prior information on what is going to be discussed. And once you are inside the meeting, they'll tell you to resign. If not, you'll be threatened. And for a middle class family, a person who's living, whose family livelihood depends on a single person's earning, would be scared to hell by the way the HRs treating them. And at the end of the meeting, you need to resign, or they will threaten you that they will terminate you, and they'll threaten you, empty threaten, which basically means you won't get any job job. So this is one of the cruelest and mass illegal retrenchments happening in India in the history of Indian IT industry. And the main problem is the government, state governments and the central governments, they are bystanders. Even though these companies announce large numbers in media and execute it, the government, the labor departments are not intervening, and they're
I
making
wanted
the
to get to the
tax-paying employees
loopholes in the
suffer.
labor laws. How are these companies bypassing labor laws so freely?
They're not bypassing it. They just simply ignore it. And the enforcers, the labor department, they don't act. They don't do their job. The affected employees are crying when they speak to us at the last moment that I pay 30% tax. I'm a highest taxpayer in my neighborhood. why government is not intervening. So this is the question employees ask, and we don't have any answer. We want to make, first of all, the labor department accountable, then the TCS, for enabling such cruel illegal retrenchments.
You know, this is really quite a jolt to the IT employees, and now the fear looms on who next, right, Ramnath? Do you also feel that pressure sometimes? And another thing, we're looking at retirement age drastically reducing. From 60, it's now come down to 50. People are being pushed to go into, their entrepreneurial journeys, not out of their sheer passion. It's basically out of desperation. They've got to find or look for a backup option. And what I also see is all these fields of tech, engineering, etc., are no more the most sought after. If this is what the fate is, you might as well pursue your passion right in your young age. Any kind of form of art and culture and whatever, right? Because studying engineering or tech will give you great dividends. That myth is busted now.
Yes. Now we have already observed in the different social media platforms recently regarding 30 years of years worked in TCS. The person has called for early retirement or forcible retirement within a 20 minutes without any severance pay or without any termination notice or something like that. So definitely now, obviously the people who have committed working in the TCS around for 30 years, it is a big challenging to look for other alternative. What you said is 100% right. I do agree with you. Why? Because the people who are in early age, there is a many more options to explore their career path. After work 30 more years in same company in same domain, how they are looking for other alternative kind of options at the time of age. It is very difficult for not only him, their family members or everything who are dependent on him is more scared now. So definitely what the leader, what the IT member union member told, definitely all state government or central government must be intervene in the company laws. Almost the government has allocated to lands to the private sectors, land to IT companies in 99 paisa per acre, 13 acres or 14 acres. Still, state governments are allocated lands to IT companies. But whenever these kind of layoffs or some kind of terminations are happened in the media, why governments are keep silencing? The central government has must be intervene and make some arrangements. No, there is no possibility to terminate many people at a time. It is against for the laws. What the my colleague said clearly, it is not only bypass. They are completely ignoring the labor laws. It is also violation of government, violation of rules and regulations. So particularly,
and that's what when
there
they
is a
speak up,
solution.
and none of them are willing to speak on television. Of course, you guys are doing a great favor to them by putting this out there and showing your face, because we know that they're all worried for their future now. They can't find another job if they actually diss their own company. That's the worry. But a final word, Mr. Welkin. Is there anything that your IT association is going to do to push for the rights of IT employees? What next?
So we started functioning since 2018, and since then we have filed multiple cases against multiple MNCs. And what we have learned is Labor Department or the government are not interested to regulate these companies without bringing these IT MNCs into regulation, especially on the performance appraisal or the bench policy or the work from home policies. Even the background verification method which the companies use to threaten employees, there is no hope for employees to have a safe and well-to-do livelihood and the work culture. We, as part of the union, along with other unions in across India and also the international in other countries, we are building a coordinated effort to expose TCS, that is, and the other countries, other companies, because exposing and establishing that these companies, whatever they claim or the blame which they put on the employee's skill set or on the employee's performance or arbitrarily wrong or it is misdirection.
Absolutely.
The business decision is what making the employees sacrificed for the profit maximization.
So we'll see. They have a battery of lawyers. How far are you going to be able to fight That's also a question, but more power to you. If you have the case and you are strong with your ground, then we just hope that your people who are approaching you for justice find it. Thanks very much, both of you, for joining us on that.